Breaking news. This is international news that I can't do it in 3 minutes as usual. I'll do a longer version of this, and the rest of this you can get it on Alan Hoy TV, that is on my YouTube platform. The news, the US has just struck Venezuela. I'll give you a context of that. That is just, it's presumed, because this information is not mostly found on social media, but a voice note that most of the people are carried from what Trump confessed, that is on one radio station in the US. And that comes immediately after, or it was something that happened at the same time while he was bombing the ISIS fractions that is in northwest Nigeria. It's believed that that is the very night that he also destroyed what they will call a boat manufacturing plant in Venezuela. What is about Trump and Venezuela? Trump and Venezuela, they had a problem from the beginning when the Venezuelan current president Maduro, took over the leadership of Venezuela and brought all the issues that were there in Venezuela. They did a lot and sanctioned Venezuela because of whatever reasons that the US thought would be, but they did not succeed. So Venezuela has been being led by Maduro. For now, they have designated Venezuela, some of the groups in Venezuela, as terrorist organizations because of the narcotics. Much of the fentanyl that goes to the US, it's believed that it comes from Venezuela to the US. They are yet to get more in Colombia, because they also believe there's a lot of poppy that is grown in Colombia that is also used as a way to create cocaine that is also found in the United States. So the bombing of Venezuelan infrastructure that is yet to be specified. When I talk about it being a place where the boats that are transporting the drugs to the US is just an assumption of most people are making. And someone will ask, was that the factory along the coast? Some are saying it was not along the coast. It was deeper inside Venezuela, in a place where maybe a forest somewhere where the canopy covers whatever happens there, so that people might not really see it immediately or might not see it easily. Then it also offers a cover when they say that Maduro is in charge of the same or understands whatever happening. It is easy Maduro to say that he doesn't really understand what is happening. Now, the US were going in northwest Nigeria. It was a fact that those terrorists have been kidnapping very many people, and the Christians being the highest number of all those terrorists are taking, asking a lot of ransom, and even killing some, totaling a number of 7,000 plus people who are alleged to be killed by those terrorists who abducted them and killed them. And Trump came in and said, you know what, we cannot watch this as more Christians die in the hands of these terrorists. And he warned the Nigerian government and asked them to go through the same. He said they sent a lot of warnings to those guys, but now they had to show them a show of power and tell them that I am in charge. Trump had to show them that I am in charge and I'll take control of everything that I need to take. I'll do what I'm supposed to do. And now in Venezuela has boasted of its security in a manner or in a way that they think they can go head to head with the US, of which every person who understands the US military power cannot compare it to Venezuela. Venezuela, it's alleged that they are getting some technical support and some military hardware support from Russia and China, and even the chemicals that I used to take to create the fentanyl. Most of the people say that those chemicals are shipped from China to Venezuela. So people are asking, is Venezuela involved? Is China involved in the matters in Venezuela? Yes, some rumors were there that most of the some of the Chinese military hardware and some of the that is Russian military hardware, that is the air defense systems, have been seen within the Venezuelan soil, preparing Venezuela for a much better battle when it comes to confronting the US. There are much Venezuela's ship coast guard ships that are really confronting the US naval sphere. But now, as we talk about what we're talking now, most people believe that Venezuela is now engulfed or surrounded by the U.S. naval force that is ready to go in and do anything that would have been asked by or commanded by the POTUS himself, who is President Donald Trump. And there are people suggesting, will the U.S. soldiers stay or step in the land of Venezuela in the name of them going to fight those narco designated terrorist organizations, or which method will the US use to make sure that they are curbing and destroying those organizations? Will they do what they do best to find a way to topple Maduro and put another president that is pro US to promote the US part of rule or part of leadership in Venezuela? And most people are saying if that happens, then again Russia and China will get in. And remember, currently, again, this is international news, so I'll just bring everything down. Currently, in Taiwan Strait, South Chinese Strait, China has been practicing how to blockade around Taiwan, and with live ammunitions, trying to get themselves ready for a confrontation with Taiwan. But if China goes into Taiwan, because they still believe that Taiwan is part of Chinese, and Taiwan is a U.S. protectorate. Japan is a U.S. protectorate. So if China goes into Taiwan, Japan says that they are ready to get into that war and defend Taiwan, because they know once China takes Taiwan, they will be the next target. The same thing that is happening in Ukraine and Russia. Much is happening around. So Taiwan are prepared, and China are also doing drills, real war drills, not far but very close to Taiwan, ready to go in and do what they do better. But again, you understand, if China goes into Taiwan, US, that will be a Taiwan US war, and US will come with all her allies in that area to make sure that they're turning away the Chinese aggression into Taiwan. Recently, sometimes back, we saw most of the people in Taiwan, once the war in Ukraine started, most of the people in Taiwan started having a paramilitary training, each and every individual, just to be ready to fight if China comes in, just ready to protect their own country if China dares to come in. The same thing that happened to Ukraine when the locals and the civilians took up arms to defend their own country, and that is what's going to happen in Taiwan again. All in this, the wars and rumors of war everywhere, a show of power, and Trump is trying to show people that I am in control and I can do whatever I want to do anywhere, whenever I decide to do it, and there's no one who can ask me any question on this. But is this trying to start another war that Trump promised he will never do any other wars, but he will end all the wars around? Is this what we call a peaceful coexistence, or a peaceful nation that is going for to do all the things that they are doing? Will Trump get the US into other wars when he promised that he will not create any other wars when he was campaigning? His main promise was he will end the existing wars within very few days, that 60 days of whatever days that he had mentioned earlier. But now, with whatever is happening, there are people who are scared that he might be getting the US into other wars around the world. But all in all, we have not talked about the Iran-Israel war, that the US must also come in. There are rumors that Iran has developed other more complicated and sophisticated warheads that they are planning, or they are promising that within a very short time they will be sent to the Israeli. The meeting with the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and Trump at Mar-a-Lago was a meeting of discussion on what is going to happen next. And you heard Trump saying that if the Iran Khamenei, that is the Iran supreme leader, dares to again start production of or enriching uranium, they know what will happen. And this time when they go in, they'll go in much tougher than what they did for the first time. What they did in the first time they went to destroy all those bunkers that they believed there's some activities of uranium enrichment that was nearing Iran to getting to nuclear warhead. That is something that everyone doesn't want really to happen in Iran at the current moment. All in all, you can engage us in the comment section and tell us what do you think about all these happenings, and how will they affect the nation around, how will they affect the world around, because if all that goes into war, then everything around the world is going to change, not as normal.